York. What do you see as the future role of the United Nations in Africa?
United Nations. Oh, okay. I can answer from here. Oh, but it's a good exercise to stand. Now, the United Nations needs to be serious. They are not serious. The United Nations is full of careerists. Do you know a careerist? A careerist is a job doer who is doing job as a career, as a job. But we need people of conviction in the United Nations. And this is totally lacking. They therefore don't do good work. They make a lot of mistakes. But having said that, I am for the reforming of the UN, not for scrapping it. Because if you scrap it, then you have no other forum. So I think the answer is to reform it. But they are now not doing a good job, in my opinion, especially in peacekeeping and so on. But even in development issues, like we were there talking about what they call MDGs, Millennium Development Goals. Now what they did, they set up social indicators. Infant mortality should be brought down to so many maternal mortality. But the question is, how are you going to do that? Are you going to use witchcraft? Or are you going to use development? Now, one of the biggest problems of Africa is exporting raw materials. This is part of our struggle now. Like you take Uganda. Uganda is the fourth biggest exporter of coffee in the whole world. But, of course, we are now changing this. But in the past, we would get $1 per kilogram of coffee. And when it is taken to somewhere else, a group called Nestle, they roast it, grind it, and for them they get $20 for the same kilogram for which I got $1. That means, therefore, that Uganda is giving aid. Uganda is a donor to some of these countries for $19 in every kilogram of coffee. So, if you do not deal with these structural problems, like, for instance, Africa exporting raw materials, and when we export raw materials, we are not only exporting, we are not losing the $19 per kilogram of coffee. We are also losing jobs. Those jobs are taken, they are exported. Now, if you don't deal with that, then how will you deal with the so-called Millennium Development Goals? If somebody does not have a job, if I'm not employed, how can you eradicate my poverty? How will poverty be eradicated if people don't have jobs? And how will people have jobs if there is no industrialization? So the UN has got a lot of weaknesses, but I think they are curable. This is my answer.